Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian, and we are on lesson number 3 of the Passion Purpose Publish Challenge. This is called the Strategy of Straight Lines. For those of you who have been reading my stuff for any length of time, you'll know that years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago at this point, I created this approach. It's certainly not rocket science, but just a very sequential marketing map for simplifying, for selling, and for doing so in an ethical and approachable way. So I'm going to read this really quickly, and then we're going to cover each one of these elements in a little bit of detail. So the map goes obviously from here down, and it starts with the strategy of straight lines, converting strangers into subscribers and subscribers into sales. What is the shortest path? And for me, it is article plus opt-in to offers. So this is the map, article or content piece, opt-in, offer. That's obviously not so revolutionary now. It's actually pretty conventional in terms of how most content marketers work. But the goal here is we want to reduce friction, keep it super simple. We want to increase frequency until you are uncomfortable. This is really important. I get uncomfortable fairly quickly in this process. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a moment. But unless you're getting uncomfortable with your email updates or the frequency in which you're sending emails, you're probably not sending enough. Don't overthink it. Share and write from the heart. I also like to add here, write when you're inspired. There's a fair amount of good science on how the best inspirational writing actually comes from a place that is inspired. So if you are actually feeling really, really stoked or excited or motivated to share something in a passionate, purposeful way, the likelihood or the chances of that resonating with your ideal audience go up in a pretty significant way. Again, I will post a link to some of the science behind this. I've actually shared this before. It doesn't matter if there's good science or not, though, behind it. It's just in my own life and experience, certainly a really powerful process for sharing things that are meaningful. Lastly, 1 win, you have a blog post or a book. 3 wins, you have a business. All right, so I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. And I'm going to start with this, then we'll work back up here. One of the things that keeps so many of us from really doing what we love and sharing what we know is that we are under the false impression that you really have to know a ton of stuff to really share anything at all. So I remember years ago, not that many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I was doing some affiliate marketing and some consulting for the life coaching market, and I did an affiliate marketing campaign for the Tony Robbins Get RMT Robbins Madonnas coaching program, which is a really good coaching program for those of you who are, sort of looking to enhance and extend your experience in that, in some novel and interesting ways. But that's not the point of this. In doing this affiliate marketing campaign, I actually did a couple calls, or I was on a bunch of calls with some of the content side of this program, as if I was a client. So I was just or as if I was not selling the program, but actually taking the program. And one of the things that I always remember was one of the hosts of the program, which was, I think her name is Maglia Pesha, said, and she was kind of, responding to one of the participants who was really feeling like she didn't know enough stuff to be a really good life coach, but she knew a couple things really, really well. And what Maglia, and I believe that's how her name is pronounced, suggested to this woman was that the best coaches, the most prolific coaches, the ones that are often the most well known, don't have a lot of stuff that they know. They're just really, really good at one thing, or they know one or two techniques, and that's it. So instead of having to learn 15 or 20 or 12 or 9 different strategic interventions, that was the nature of that particular program, she encouraged this woman, and by extension, everyone on the call, just pick one or two things that you really do well, and that's what you ought to do. So, in that tradition, or to respect that sort of approach, if you have one win, if you can give me something, one thing that changes me, that helps me, that heals me, that pops a pain, that transforms my life in some way, that's valuable. So you have a book in that, or a blog post, or you have a coaching offer just by dint of one win. If you have 3 wins, you have a business. So if you can teach me not just that one thing, but you can stack 2 other high value or highly transformative techniques or practices or exercises or insights that change my life or my business or whatever it is that you're teaching, my health, you have a business. One win, a blog post or a book, and really a book. 3 wins, you have a business. All right, let's go back up to the top here, and let's talk about what I want to talk about. Okay, let's look at the increase in frequency as a marketing model. All right, so many of us, myself included, get uncomfortable emailing our list often, but there's all sorts of empirical metrics that show that the more frequently that you email your list, the higher amount of money or the dollar value your list is going to be worth. On top of that, you are going to get significantly more unsubscribes. But there's a strange thing that happens when you really email your list frequently. And I've used this example before, and I'm going to give it here again. There is a coach whose list I am on, and I've never purchased anything. That's not true. I think years ago I bought something that he put out. I don't remember what it was, but it was probably 7, 8, or 9 years ago. Actually, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to make a whole tangential thing on that. But I liked it. It was good. He's very skilled at what he does. And every now and then I sign up for his list again, just because he sends out so much email that no matter how valuable what he shares may be, he sends so much of it that you get to a point where you're either going to buy something or you unsubscribe. And because I rarely buy anything from any person, anybody who's selling stuff via email, I always end up just getting frustrated at the frequency that he sends stuff out, and I unsubscribe. But I'm not going to buy something from him anyway. So, he's really a peer more than he is a teacher to me. And I do it as a mode of competitive intelligence. But the thing that I have found is that when I unsubscribe from this guy's list, as I invariably do, I miss his emails. Like, I find myself after a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, wondering what he's doing, wondering what he's working on, wondering what he's saying. And when I say he sends a lot of email, he will email his list sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And this is not an exaggeration. There have been days I've gotten 4 emails from this guy. And it's almost like he has a thought, which is what I'm saying here, and he just shares it. Like, he doesn't think about this in some real strategic way. He's just comfortable in terms of his, and I've spoken to him a couple times, and I've mentioned this to him, and he has even said to me that he looks at his list as people who really genuinely are sincerely interested in learning what he knows. He's not looking at them as people who are just kind of subscribing to a zillion different lists and may or may not have one or another level of interest. He's really saying these people are as motivated and as stoked as I am to learn X, and X being what he is teaching. And therefore, in his view, the more of these sort of like, inspirational like ideas that he just sends out at the drop of a hat, the better it is for his list. Now, he's smart enough to realize that people do unsubscribe, the more that he sends them, but he doesn't care. He does very well. And what I have found, when I say very well, he makes a strong to mid six-figure income on his email marketing alone. Now, what I have found is when I send more, when I automate or send more email in every content campaign that I have, I do get the increase in unsubscribes pretty quickly, but without any question, the sales go up and the resonance goes up and the amount of interactivity I have with my list goes up and the amount of Facebook friendship requests I get or friend requests goes up and the amount of shares I get and the amount of business I book. All of the important positive metrics increase as well. And the only obstacle that stops me is this uncomfortable or this lack of confidence that I have that my community is going to tolerate me sharing or sending every kind of insightful or inspirational or moment by moment kind of try this idea that occurs to me that I want to share with them. So when I kind of negate this tension in my mind and body and my sense of being annoying, it's amazing how much better my business becomes. And again, it's still a struggle. Like I still find myself having to talk myself into sending that second email in a given day, even if I know it's something I'll forget or I don't want to sequence in some way. It's more of a broadcast, one-off kind of thought. I still find that it's challenging, even as someone who's done this professionally for a decade plus, to really want to send that email because I'm afraid of pissing off my list. So this is pretty much the strategy of Straight Lines. It is just getting hyper-focused, hyper-linear, and just saying, I'm going to move strangers into subscribers and subscribers into sales in the shortest path possible. This is a blog post or a Facebook ad or a Medium article or whatever it is on the front end. This piece, the article piece, is almost for me always a content piece leading to an opt-in, leading to an offer. And the more systematic you get, the more disciplined you get with these three steps, the quicker you will earn a full-time income doing this work. If you're writing books, you can the same front end piece applies. You put 2 or 3 links in your Amazon book, you give it away for free on Amazon or charge 99 cents. You lead that that link leads to an opt-in, that opt-in leads to an offer. All right? I mean, it's very, very simple stuff. This can be a free course. This opt-in using something like With Coach, which is what I'm using for this that you're taking now, that you're probably watching this video on, anything that allows you to collect names and then deliver content and an offer counts. All right. So this is the strategy of Straight Lines. If you want to talk about it more in detail, feel free to reach out, ianrhollander@gmail.com, or say hi on Facebook, Twitter, or otherwise. All right. We'll get more into this in some of the following days, but that's it for now. Okay. Thanks so much.